You already know what this video is going to be about, boys, just by the title. Got an errands in the shop. We're going to do a how-to video on how to simply tune up your snowblower the basic way. All the steps that you need to do it yourself. That kind of deal. Anyway, let's start the video, eh? Holy. Alright, so I've gone ahead and pulled the carburetor ball off, pulled the jet off. I figured I'd make this video every once in a while. Because I get asked millions of questions on how to clean a Tecumseh carburetor ball. This right here is just a regular smart carb is what I like to call them. Reason being is all this one little jet here is just one jet and you just bolt it into the bottom of it. There are other ones where there's two jets that come in, well not two jets, but two little needles, something like this one over here. You'll see something just like this where there's two screws. You got the one on the top. There it is, autofocus. You got the one bolt right there on the top, and then you get the screw right there. This is your adjustment screw. So pretty much all you gotta do is go in there with either a 1/2 inch or a 13mm wrench, pull it off underneath there. Once you get it off, you'll take a carburetor ball, you'll clean the inside of it like what I did, a little bit of carb cleaner, doesn't need to be anything special. Clean it, down up with a little bit of residue, something like that, a little bit dirty on the inside. Then what you're going to want to do, spray her down. Actually, we're not going to do this on the snowblower. Whoa! Damn! The button just got stuck. Okay, guess that's one way to break in a new button. That was something else. We're just going to let that sit. Next, I'm going to take this little jet here. You guys now this toolbox here. You get two holes, one down the bottom, and then you have one at the very top there. Camera is not very good because we're still using Fisher Price camera here. You take a little bit of a wire brush, take one of the tooth there, one of the little needles, stick it in that little tiny hole up in the top there, clean her out. Clean the bottom one out if you can. And then you got one dead center in the middle. Right down there. Look right down the chute there. Obviously we're still using Fisher Price camera. Like I said before. Clean the inners of that out. Next what you're going to want to do is come over here. Take your little carburetor cleaner here. Get this guy on there. Just like that. What I want to do, do your bottom hole. Let's see, where's the camera? Bottom hole. Come on. Wow, this button's stuck. There it is. Do that one. Spray some dead in the center. And then spray some right in that little tiny one there. Look away when you're doing it. Don't get this shit in your eyes. I did it last winter. Wasn't too pretty. Hurts like a motherfucker is what it does. It's probably worse than pepper spray. Like 40 times worth with like a freaking chemical reaction. So now you have that jet all clean. Ooh, where's my hand? There it is. Jet's all clean. If your carburetor's like really bad, gummed up and shit like that, you're probably going to need to do a full rebuild on it, get new gaskets, new O-rings. This one's not too bad, and you'll probably need to stick it in the bucket of chem dip, like over here, carburetor purge cleaner, nothing too special. I've had that for over a year and a half now. Time to upgrade that one, I think. But anyway, so there's how you clean a just a Tecumseh jet there for a snowblower. You know, pretty basic. They've used these since like the 90s, so yeah. But one reason when I said don't spray it on your snowblower like what I was about to do is if you did it, it would leave a really big white mark. It'll literally melt the paint off your snowblower. So don't do that. Do it on the floor or something like what I did. Next up, we got the little carburetor bowl here. Where am I going? I'm going the wrong workbench. Come over here, grab a little bit of paper towels, just don't burn yourself off by the heater. Stick it in there and, you know, give it a good little mopping. Whoop, son of a bitch. Just dirty everything up, you know. Put you guys out. Up there. Clean around the ring. If it's pitted and corroded, replace it. Save yourself the hassle. There we go. Clean carburetor bowl. There's always a little gasket up at the top. If you want to, you can take the heater box cover off, but I'm not going to. It's just because this is just already here. I can easily get underneath it. If the top O-ring is bad, replace it. This one here is still good, so we'll go ahead and rock with it. See how this guy's got a little bit of an indentation of it. Every time it comes to a carburetor bowl is going to have it. You want this part here to be where your fuel dumps in at. So, my float right here is dangling down right here. So I'm going to take it, put the shallow end to where the jet is. And there you go. Bolt your carburetor on, and you bolt your little jet on, right there, and you're good to go. Just like that. Right here's where I belong. I'm gonna stay till the money's gone. If it takes me all night long. Gotta get my drink on. Alright, gotta do another little quickie here. Next one's the oil. Two ways of doing it. You can either drain it cold like what I'm about to do, or drain it warm. What I mean by that is fire up the engine, let it run for a couple of minutes, and then let your oil thin out. It'll be a little bit quicker and easier. But my oil here is almost empty. I'm not going to dump oil into it, I'm just going to drain it out. So I'm just going to go ahead and drain it cold. I get plenty of time on my hands to where I can do it. If you're in a rush, warm up your engine and drain it warm. So you're going to take a 5/8 wrench, crank it wherever it is. Your drain could be either on the front, on this side, where this little hole is here, or it could be on that side, where that hole is. Either way. So this one here has got a 5/8 little cap on it. Screw that. Make sure you get a good little bucket in below you there. Ta-da-da-da-da. Let's see. See if we can get it all over the floor. And there we go. It's draining. Look at that, huh? Pretty dark. So we'll let that drain for a few minutes. While that's doing that, I'm going to try and free up this auger chute here. By the way, guys, 530 oil you're going to put in the snowblower for winter use. Oh yeah, that sounds healthy right there. So here's what we got to do to solve that problem. Come over here to my drawer. Oh, it's missing. Must be over here. Take a 3/8 nut driver, ratchet, wrench, whatever you got. Unscrew those top little screws there. And guys, this is just the basic way how to do this shit. I'm no professional. We're just cheap and easy. Get her done. Quick little $60 tune-up job. That's it. All what we're doing here is just a basic tune-up, which is just a carb cleaning, not a carb rebuilding. If the carburetor had to get rebuilt, we'd be paying, well, the owner would be paying a little bit more. So, as you can see, we got some gears here. You have the gears in there. You also have these bottom little slider points, which are on the inside of there. So, don't lose your nuts or your bolts or your insanity. Take a little bit of liquid wrench for right now. Just free up. Ooh, that would have been bad. See where the tips pointed? Yeah, would have got you and the camera. Okay, so it's going to spray the bottom of this blah blah blah. You can use liquid wrench. I prefer liquid wrench on this stuff. PV blaster is a little bit too thin. Liquid wrench is just a little bit thicker. Just to break up any of the old grease that's in there. That's all we're doing. That just sounds alright, so I'm going to work it in there until we get the squeaky to stop. Alright, we fixed the chute there. It's actually just a little bit, it's this little adjustment bolt down the bottom here. This adds tension to the top there to make it pretty much that way. This guy here wouldn't move when the snow was coming out pretty much, but this was actually over tightened. So that wasn't too good, but I got it all fixed up. No more squeaky squeak. Yeah, it was just a little bit way too tight on there. That's what was causing the problem. So next up anyway, I'm just going to take a little bit of gear oil, I haven't cut the cap on this yet because I just got it last night. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to go around to a couple of the spots. I'm going to, just demonstrate here. I'm going to go all around in there, just like so. A little bit on these teeth, a little bit here, a little bit right there. Oil's taking a piss. A little bit down to where your gear selector is. We're eventually going to pop off that drive box in a little bit there. I'll show you why. A little bit onto here, a little bit here, a little bit on your little slider down there. If this needs to be adjusted, adjust it. It's only the little bolt right down there. And yeah, that's what you're going to want to do there with a little bit of gear oil. So I'll go ahead and do that real quick. And oh yeah, I get this little guy too. This guy here is a little bit just frozen up. So we're going to loosen up this bolt here and get in behind there with a little bit of penetrating fluid. Try and get this freed up. Alright, so now that you've got all your little bells and whistles all greased up, your little handle shifter and your levers all done, now it's time. I'll show you what I've already gone ahead and did. You're going to want to take this little pin out, pull that guy out, grease the inner of that, grease the shaft there, and same deal, gear oil. I like to use gear oil. It's a little bit thicker, and if you use some of the watery shit, it just slides right off of it. So do that, throw a little air in the tire while you're there. You seem pretty good, don't need to do anything. One thing I forgot to mention is there's actually a little hinge up in this one here. So you might want to grease that. Some snowblowers do not have the hinge, some have this style, where it's just two nuts and you go up and down with. Oh yeah, that one's next. So, now that you've done all those, next one you're going to do is your augers. Now, it's either going to have grease fittings or you don't have grease fittings at all, pretty much. This one over here does. Actually, you can see there's one right there, one right there, one right there, and one right there. This one, however, does not. Unfortunately, these augers are pretty much, well, let's see. Nope, I guess they are free. This guy got lucky. A lot of these snowblowers, without the grease fittings, the auger rakes like to seize up on the drive thing. On this, I don't know, we'll just call it the drive shaft, even though that's not what it is. Because there's no lubrication in here. So what I like to do is I like to just put a little bit of grease, put a little bit in there, put a little bit in there, put a little bit in there, put a little bit there, loosen up the shear pins, so that way they're not pinching the steel like what this one is. This one's free. See how that one's off of it? This one, however, is not. This one's tight. Then what you're going to do is you're going to take a 1/2 inch or 9/16. This looks like a 1/2 inch socket. Pull that off, add a little bit of gear oil in there, and you're pretty much all done with your auger. You don't do your impropeller. There's nothing there pretty much to grease. So, yeah, there you go. Try that. Alright, so I got the gearbox here all done, the augers. I just want to point something out. I'm sure a few of you guys want to know how to check if your augers are seized on your shaft. This is the most important thing out of everything on here, besides your engine. Pretty much what happens, if you should hit a rock, a brick, anything big, and it goes in there, and your shear pin doesn't break, guess what's going to break? Your gearbox. Inside here, there's a little brass worm drive. Those things love to go when you hit a rock or anything. And if the shaft are seized on, like if any of these, you get your auger seized onto your shaft here, you're gonna have some serious problems. You can go with it if you have a flat driveway without any rocks. You should be fine. But if you have a big embankment at the end of your driveway, be careful, because guaranteed you're gonna hit a rock with it, and you're gonna break either A, your shear pin, if you get lucky and it's not seized. If your auger is seized on your shaft, guess what? You're going to be breaking more than your shear pin. You're going to be breaking your entire gearbox. And that gearbox right there, it's about a $400 item, which you don't want to break. Used, by the way. That's not new. So I'll show you how to check that. Get my lovely assistant paper towel here so you get it down. What you're going to want to do is put one hand on this shaft. Let me turn you guys just a little bit here. and one hand on this shaft. Now hold this one in place and wiggle this one. If you can wiggle this one and this one doesn't move, you're all set. Same on the other side. If you can wiggle this one, hear it, see it. If you can wiggle this one and this one doesn't move, you're all set. You're free. But if not, you might want to get that inspected. This is the way of doing it. Pretty much the way you do it is you completely take your auger out of your whole entire housing assembly here, your blower housing, and you're going to pull the entire unit out, take your shear pins off, and heat the entire thing till it's almost red with your oxyacetylene torch, like I have one sitting right over there. Zoom's a little shaky today. Mine's right there. Heat her up and try and break it free. If not, rock with it until you break it. So that's just a quick little tip for you. So I've already gone ahead, pretty much everything's almost done. We've already got the oil drain capped. We ran out of oil. All the oil's out of it, which is good. Looks like we had a little bit of a spillage underneath there, which is no big deal. Next thing I'm going to show you guys is the drivetrain underneath. And that's pretty much it. I mean, it's almost like a 3-point inspection. You have your auger, which is 1, your motor, which is 2, and your drivetrain, which is 3. 3-point inspection. Easy enough. Oh yeah. Alright, so here's what it looks like pretty much underneath your snowblower. You're either going to have a drive disc, which 95% of them have, or a full-blown gearbox. If you have a gearbox, you're doing pretty good for yourself. But anyway, so there's the inspection cover. It's off. As you can see, I had to pull the wheels off, as you can tell. So yep. So pretty much in here, you have your slider. If your shifter is not sliding, like if it's not moving over, chances are your slider here is going to be rusted up, and you're going to want to file that down. Pull out the entire slider, file it down, clean it up. And here I kind of sort of look for any wear on the gears, the chains. If the chains need to be replaced, these don't. I mean, it's still a fairly new machine. Any broken gears, I've already spun this. You can tell, no broken gears, which are good. Next up, what you can do, check your belts way down here. As you can see, the dry belt on this one, not so well. Could use to be replaced, but the owner doesn't want to replace it. So we'll let him blow it off, and then when he breaks it, he has to bring it back to me for another service charge. Next up, you can see 2 auger belts. You either have 1 auger belt or 2 auger belts. This one has 2, both almost like brand new. Check for any broken springs. Still fine. Cables looks pretty good. Everything works like it should. So I'm going to go ahead, grease up all these gears here, grease up the chain. If you need to, grease up your slider here. This one does not need to be greased up. So you're looking pretty good there. So once this is all done, I'll go ahead, throw the tires and rims back on, throw the inspection plate cover back on, and then this thing's pretty much done so we could fire it up and throw some oil into it. Alright, so there's one last little step on this thing. I already get the oil in her, brand new spark plug in her. One little quick little reminder for you. Make sure you have your fuel on position, so that way you're not ripping your friggin' arm off trying to pull the damn thing. Oop, I was looking for that. That's my cap to my oil. Yeah, Walmart. Yeah. So, one last little step involves these little guys right here. Skid shoes. Always check them. These aren't too bad. I've seen a lot worse, actually. This one here is, yeah, it's not too bad. I can almost break it off. We're not going to. Usually once these start to wear out, you're going to want to replace them. Unfortunately, the owner doesn't want to replace them. It's not my problem, it's his problem. Usually once these pieces here start to wear out is when you really want to replace them. He's pretty much just going to try and get one more use out of it for the winter. This one's not too bad. Just want to make sure they're good. These two right here, I mean, they obviously need to be replaced. Again, not my machine, not my problem. I've already talked to the owner about a few things that he should be doing on this that he doesn't want to invest the money into, which is not my problem. Obviously, check your scraper blade down the bottom here. This one here is actually pretty good shape, but if he doesn't replace these two little $25 pieces, that's going to be worn out, and that's probably about a good $30 piece. So, whatever. His waste of money, not mine. You know, I took some notes on what should be done on this machine. It needs new fuel lines. Kind of sort of a little rough going into here. So I would definitely recommend replacing those. Again, the skid shoes. He needs obviously a new dry belt by at least by the end of the winter. He'll probably get until the winter out of it, and then next season is when he'll be dumping some money into it, I'd say. So I'm sure we'll be seeing it back in this shop. If not, it'll be going to my other shop. Well, not my other shop, but the other competition. Farina's. So, anyway, let's crank this bitch up. Got the oil in her, got the gas on. Obviously, hasn't been stirred. I can touch it with my hand. Make sure your key's involved. If your key's not there, you're obviously going to have some problems. Give her 3 little primes. Choke on. I actually just put it the wrong way. Okay, let's crank her up. Not bad. I can fumigate myself in here with the freaking gas heater. Boom. But oh, it smells wonderful on this side. But if your idle's adjusting, like if it's running really high, you seem like you're when you're all the way full throttle up and you go down, chances are that I'll show you. Chances are that your throttle is stuck. You kind of already want to fix that. A little bit of PB blaster. I'll get that freed up. That's your throttle right there. This right here is your throttle. This right here is your choke, as you can see. And if you want to adjust the idle to make it go even more quieter, all you gotta do is just adjust that screw when it's running. So, yeah. So hopefully you guys learned something on this snowblower. Hopefully it helps a couple of you guys out. You know, that kind of season again. And I'm sure people are trying to get these things fixed up. So, anyway, hope you enjoyed the how-to video. So, anyway, it's freaking Tuesday morning. I got other shit to do. Maybe we'll try and upload this video early. It's right now 1 o'clock. And, I don't know. Let's see how well I do. But, anyway, we'll do it as the day goes on.